Space dragons are an antagonist of the simple goal, but somewhat confusing and complicated mechanics, especially if you haven't experienced space dragons before. They can appear randomly as a mid-round event, or it is possible for ninjas to call them in if they hack the comms console. It's about a 50-50 chance that they will spawn a dragon. Once you take the dragon ghost roll, you can appear literally anywhere. You can appear right in the middle of medbay, as you see in this example, or you can appear on the automated trade station, on the cargo ship, on the salvager ship. You basically hope that you don't spawn somewhere here, because this is not an amazing place to spawn. So, immediately before we get into the mechanics of the Space Dragon, we'll get into the combat stats. It's pretty simple. The Space Dragon has 450 HP, technically 500, but you go the crit at 450. You don't have any form of damage reduction. Space Dragons are actually rather quick. They're faster than default move speed by a decent bit, so you can guarantee run down anyone. However, there is the unfortunate side effect that the Space Dragon actually slows down at the same values as like a human would. So if you take 60 damage out of your 450 HP pool, you will slow down by 25%. And if you take 80 damage, which is still not even a quarter of your HP pool, you'll slow down by 50%. So you could be well above 3/4 of your health, but moving at half speed. So that is really going to be a big downside for the Space Dragon. You're going to take 60, 80 damage easy. You're going to take hundreds of points of damage, and you're basically just going to be slow for that duration. Um, you do 15/15 pierce a hit. You can wide attack, so you can break things like windows rather easily. You must be cautious, though. You actually are not protected against shocks. Against low voltage shocks, you actually will be fine. But against medium voltage or high voltage, you will take full shock damage. And if you touch a high voltage grill and people are wiring the AME up directly to it, you will basically obliterate yourself. So that's really the combat stats down. You're fast, but you're not really going to be very fast. You're actually going to be quite slow due to how little damage you need to take to make your movement speed cut in half. If I touch just this one HV grill, I'm still in okay health territory, but I will be moving at half my movement speed the entire time until I drop below 80 HP, and then again dropping below 60 HP. This is probably an oversight, but it's been this way forever. So just something to keep in mind, that you're going to be slow as a Space Dragon for most of your life. Also worth mentioning that Space Dragons actually do have full movement in space. You have like a little bit of drift, but you can totally retreat to space and fly around to another part of the station if you're getting chased into space. This is just a very useful tactic. Having unrestricted movement in space is really, really powerful. And one other tiny thing I could think of mentioning here right now before moving on is that Space Dragons actually metabolize chems extremely fast. So like if you hypo spray them with like unstable mutagen or something, they're not really going to be able to heal that, and it will do the damage basically instantly. So you'll pretty much keep them slow forever at that point, because dragons really can't heal too conventionally. Another thing worth mentioning as a Space Dragon, other than harm, you have a Devour option. Attempt to break a structure with your jaws or swallow a creature. So you can walk up to a door with press number 2 and then left click it. It'll make this horrid metal creaking sound that everyone around you will definitely hear. And once the do after action completes, you will completely eat the door or the wall or whatever. So you are never stuck in a location as a Space Dragon. It does not really matter if you have access or not. You could just eat every single wall. You're meant to kill and eat the crew. However, you do not want to devour a crew that's unconscious, because they can wake up inside of you and literally cut their way out of you, and there's nothing you could do about it if they manage to come out of a crit state inside of you. And it only takes about 2 seconds to devour someone. The healing is really just not that helpful. Healing's healing. Also, denying the crew from being able to revive people means there's less people there are to oppose you. The Space Dragon is literally designed to kill everyone, so don't feel bad killing and eating someone. You're a big ass dragon. Just you gotta do what you gotta do. Some very quick facts about the Space Dragon. They can't open any doors at all. They can't slip. They can be stunned, but it only slows you. It doesn't actually really inhibit you in any real way. However, due to the fact they metabolize chems quickly, and they're not immune to this, if you shoot them with 2 tranquilizer shells or inject them with chloral, The dragon will fall asleep, but the dragon can still see everything around them, can't interact with anything. So it's a very interesting sleep state. But you can just wake up like normal, so tranquilizer stay winning, I guess. That they are immune to flashes of like any kind, like a flasher or a flashbang. I'll just detonate a flashbang to show. You do not need to worry about getting stunned necessarily. You don't have to worry about getting blinded. Getting put to sleep, though, will be the absolute death of you. A CMO with a hypo spray full of chlorohydrate is enough to put you to sleep forever. So, yeah, just be very cautious of tranquilizers or hypo sprays if you're a space dragon, and utilize them, I guess, if you're not a dragon. Alright, onto the actual meat and potatoes of the space dragon is the rift mechanic. If you do not spawn a rift within 5 minutes, you will literally just disappear. So you must spawn a rift, and you need to do it very quickly after spawning. There's no actual timer or indicator to tell you that you need to spawn this rift. You just have to, and there's nothing telling you how much time you have left. You just need to do it as soon as you can. Thankfully, once you place the first rift, it's easy to remember to place the next second. It will take 5 minutes for this rift to charge to 100%. And during this entire time period, it will spawn carp about every 30 seconds if I'm not mistaken. The rift itself is somewhat tanky. It has 300 HP and it has soft structure resistances. So, like, hitting with a crowbar or something really only does a few points of damage. So people have to really melee it to death. You can't shoot it. So the crew does have to expose themselves. You probably don't want to leave your rift in an open hallway like this. You probably want to put it more towards a dead end, preferably somewhere that's even spaced. You should use space to your advantage as a space dragon. I guess the name somewhat helps with that. Also, very useful to note is that these carp will actually follow you. You see them rounding the corner. I don't quite know how their AI works, but they seem to always just kind of come towards you. So you can basically go back to your rifts to sort of collect your followers. As you can see, they definitely follow you. You're going to want to use your carp as much as possible because you really can't heal all that easily. Something that's worth mentioning, you actually can just swallow pills and stuff on the ground. So if you ever find Dermalin or something and you just got burned by a laser, you can actually just straight up eat the pills to heal. So realistically, breaking into med to steal their medical supplies is actually like practically the only real way to heal as a space dragon. Space dragons can talk, by the way, so I feel like it's not super weird, I guess. I don't know exactly how to feel about like using knowledge of like medicine to heal, but the space dragon can talk, so it's clearly like of intelligence. So I don't know if it's that strange to know that it can heal from certain medicines. I don't know. The rift itself will remain vulnerable for the full 5 minutes. As you can see there is the damageable component for the full 5 minutes. Once this rift hits 100% though, I don't think there's actually any way to destroy it. I think it just stays there until you either kill the dragon or everyone in the station's dead. Also, if you try to place another rift, it will just say you cannot have 2 charging rifts at a time. And once the rift hits 50%, it will tell everyone in the station that a rift is causing unnaturally large energy flux at its location. You can't put rifts right next to space tiles, so they're practically always going to be inside or at least close to inside. So they won't be too far away from the station. Plus, if they're really far away, they're going to have to lead the carps a further distance to you. But anyways, the only thing you do at this point is you defend your rifts and you stay alive to place your next rift. Because once this one's done charging, if you don't place a second rift, you will disappear after 5 minutes. So you must keep placing the rifts or you will die no matter what. So protecting these rifts with your life is pretty important. And if the rift is destroyed early, it doesn't kill the dragon, but it does leave them slow for 2 minutes. So if they're already injured and you destroy a rift, that really makes it easy to chase down a dragon and kill them. Only thing really left mentioning is that the second rift isn't really any mechanically different than the first. You just place it once this one hits 100%, and then you wait till the third one. And then after you place the third one, you will have nothing to worry about because you won't despawn anymore, and there's nothing for you to do other than lead your carp army and kill everyone at that point. You don't have to worry about getting your rifts down. And finally, once you place your third rift, if you try to place another rift, they'll say you have reached your maximum amount of rifts, and you will still have to wait the full 5 minutes for this to charge. But basically, the only goal you have at this point with the third and final rift is to guard it with your life. Remember that the previous rifts cannot be destroyed. They are basically just infinite carp spawner to more or less distract people. You should try to keep your rifts within as close of a range as possible, basically one screen away. Actually, I can get both rifts on screen. I don't think I placed this at quite the minimum distance. It's pretty close. It's probably at least a minimum distance, maybe plus one tile. But you want to keep them close to each other because remember that the previous rifts will actually keep spawning a new carp about every 30 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. Once the third and final rift is done, I'm not entirely sure what is intended to happen at this point. I have actually never seen a space dragon survive with all three rifts at 100%. Once you actually kill the space dragon, you do not want to give it under any circumstance. You need to butcher it. If you do not butcher it, the people inside that the dragon devoured will be lost forever. Um, I'm not entirely sure if it's just bugged for like not having people with souls, but I can't seemingly get the people to pop out of the dragon. I'm not sure if this is reported. I'll look into it a little bit more. But butchering the dragon is supposed to spit out all the people that they devoured.